And there it is, the Osunday Wendy song. So, good day to you all. Good day. This is going to be a relatively short session. I'm just really having this session really just to document something that somebody brought to my attention. So somebody has brought to my attention that some lawyers are actually querying if Peter Obi should have even been in that presidential race at all. So the person that is actually coming from the platform where lawyers congregate and have their discussion. So the headline is Peter Obi lawfully in the race for presidency. So that's where that question is. So we explore that to see what is being said there. This might be out of sequence because, of course, the election has come and gone. So I'm not quite sure how that impacts now going forward. But nevertheless, there are queries around his candidature. Is Peter Obi lawfully in the race for the presidency? So we explore what is going on there. This as well, a turn up for the books. It's just the direction. The political landscape is fluid and moving very rapidly, and there's so many contortions and changes going on. Why am I saying all this? Labour Party adopts Makinde ahead of Oyo governorship election. So now a lot of people will say that Makinde was one of the co-conspirators that brought about the birthing of the Tinubu presidency. Which of course then cut short the ambitions of the obedient space. So why then would they then lend his support? Why then rather would they then lend their support to him? That's where the question is. So hopefully we get an explanation. Labour Party adopts Makinde ahead of Oyo governorship election. And Makinde, by the way, one of the governors whose seat is under real threat. So the helping hand from the Labour Party, of course, are welcome as far as he's concerned. Because Labour Party, the flavor of the moment in Nigerian politics at this moment. Establish your second position in election before fighting for presidency. Festus Keyamo couldn't resist, of course. He mocks Peter Obi. Establish your second position in election before fighting for presidency. Keyamo mocks Obi. So, of course, I mean, it's the ludicrousness of it that some people sometimes query, because of course Peter became a distant third in the election, nearly 3 million votes deficit, but he by his own declaration won that election. So that is to say that then he's able to account for those near 3 million deficit, and then adding more to then land himself the presidency. And that is, of course, to say that nothing will be taken off from his own vote, because it's so convoluted and somewhat ludicrous. And that, of course, is why Festus Keyamo couldn't resist these mocking words. Establish your second position in election before fighting for presidency. Keyamo mocks Obi. So we'll be exploring that. And then we'll be spending some time looking at the build-up to the now upcoming Saturday elections as well. We're really only focusing on the Lagos State space because that is where the most interests are. And that is where the race is at its tightest. You'd have thought that Sanwo-Olu would just coast in. The power of incumbency, the now power of holding on to the central space, and he being somewhat of a popular candidate. You would think all of that, but you'll be thinking that pre-February the 25th. Now, post-February the 25th, everything is up for grabs within Lagos State. And a lot of people are pushing hard in that direction. But is that hard push enough to push Sanwo-Olu off his perch? So we'll be exploring that as well. So plenty to go through. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, relax into it. The usual protocol, click on the like button as you're coming in. Click on subscribe if you haven't done that already. If you want to come join us on the studio, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard. It brings you into a studio space. Soon as we finish reading out the body of the talking points, we'll let you onto the screen and the conversation ensues. So this hyperlink that says StreamYard right here is the first line on whichever platform you're watching from. So if you click on that, it brings you into a studio space. And as soon as we finish reading out the talking points, then we engage you in conversation. So if you want to come join on the screen, click on that. And of course, as ever, the invitation to buy your host cups of coffee. So if you are inclined to lubricate your host, click on here, follow the 3-step process, and buy your host endless cups of coffee. So do all that. So as you do all that, let's take another little micro musical intermission. And then as soon as we get back, we get straight into the throes of it. But first, let's join the K-Guide.
Water, only water, only water, where they see ma. Water, 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 water. Hapa o naido, hapa o naido, hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido, hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùyé o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Bobby Master kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Chief Faila ti kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùdódò jàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodana ẹ̀yẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. Iku Koniru Agweshe, may death have nothing to do with us. A powerful prayer by the Kegites. So Iku Koniru Agweshe, as guys, I bring you this. Is Peter Obi lawfully in the race for the presidency? So this goes back to February, of course, but this is out of sequence. But will it be pertinent to the lawsuits coming up? Opposition figures in the All Progressive Congress APC and the People's Democratic Party PDP have alluded that Peter Obi is not a valid member of the Labour Party and LP, hence he is not a valid presidential candidate of the party. The sentiment of the opposition party is the subject of the lawsuit filed by the All People's Movement APM at the Federal High Court Abuja. The suit lists the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, LP, and Mr. Obi as the first, second, and third defendants, respectively. The plaintiff alleges that Mr. Obi's candidacy contravenes Section 131C of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Sections 77, 2, and 3 of the Electoral Act. The plaintiff sought an injunction restraining INEC from acting on, according recognition to, giving effect to, or in any way or manner dealing with Mr. Obi as the candidate of the LP in the forthcoming presidential election. The suit was dismissed by the FHC on November the 30th, 2022, for failure of the plaintiff to provide enough evidence to support its prayers. Dissatisfied, the plaintiff approached the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja and filed suit number blah blah blah, wherein the defendants in the suit at the FHC were listed in the same order as the respondents at the Court of Appeal. On February the 8th, 2023, the appellate court refused the appeal on the grounds that the appellants lacked locus standi. So now they are saying the appellants lack standi, which is to say that they are not an invested party in the lawsuit. But the people making the lawsuit, of course, the Allied People's Movement, I'm not sure if they're a political party or not, but do they even have to be a political party to file the lawsuit? Is because I think any Nigerian is invested in a political party being fit and proper. The court went further to award cost in the aggregate sum of 400,000 against the appellants. Apart from the fact that APM could still appeal to the Supreme Court, they could easily solve the problem of locus standi by engaging a member of the Labour Party to file the suit de novo at the Federal High Court or join the person as a party in the suit at the Supreme Court. So I think the locus standi is to say that it is the business of the Labour Party to conform with that. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just interpreting it. In the event that that happens, the question is, in the event that that happens, the question will be whether the suit should succeed. So now it takes us through then the areas being flouted in law. It takes us through then the areas being flouted in law. So 131C of the Constitution provides that a person shall qualify for election to the office of the president if he's a member of a political party and is sponsored by that political party. Section 29(1) of the EA provides that parties shall not sections 29(1) of the EA provides that parties shall not later than 180 days before the date fixed for the general election submit to INEC the list of candidates the party proposes to sponsor at the elections, who must have emerged from valid primaries conducted by the party. Section 77(2) provides that a political party shall maintain a register of its members in both hard and soft copy. Section 72(3) provides that each political party shall make such register available to INEC not later than 30 days before the date fixed for the party primaries, congresses, and convention. So now this is where the contention is. APM's contention is not that the Labour Party failed to comply with Section 29, subsection 1 per se, but that considering that Section 77(3) of the EA requires political parties to make their register available to INEC not later than 30 days before their primaries. So now this is where the sticking point is. So let me read this to you again. APM's contention is not that the Labour Party failed to comply with Section 29(1) per se, but that considering that Section 77(3) of the EA requires political parties to make their registers available to INEC not later than 30 days before their primaries, Mr. Obi could not have been on the register as a member of Labour Party. This is because Obi resigned from PDP by a letter dated the 20th of May 2022 and conveyed to PDP chairman for Agulu Ward 2 in Anocha local government area, Anambra, and Labour Party conducted its primaries on the 30th of May 2022. So what they are telling us is that Peter Obi could not have been a member of the Labour Party as at the time that their primaries would have been conducted. I'm not quite sure. The law is that any conduct that must be sanctioned must be expressly stated in a written law, to wit, an act by the National Assembly. So it goes on to tell us all of this. Let's just say, I'm not quite sure. Let me give you the conclusions because it takes you into somewhat of a legalese. Furthermore, assuming Labour Party did make available its register to INEC in accordance with Section 77(3) of the Electoral Act, did not preclude it from, after submission of the said register, admitting more members into the party. Additionally, Section 29(1) of the EA and any other section of the Act does not state that for a candidate of a political party to be considered valid, the person's name must be in the register deposited with INEC. Conclusively, and without further ado, Mr. Obi is the okay. So it concludes then that Peter Obi. So I thought that they were looking at a window that was opening because, of course, this is something that's just broke. But I'm not quite sure if that window opens fully. But I'll post the link to this particular one in the comment section for you to go and read in a bit more depth. So let me post it in the comment section for you to go and read in a bit more depth. So that's territory outside of our reach, but because that's the expertise of legalese. But let's go to territories more within our reach. Labour Party adopts Makinde ahead of Oyo governorship election. So now, what's going on here? The Labour Party in Oyo State has adopted Governor Seyi Makinde as its preferred candidate ahead of next weekend's governorship election in the state. The LP chairman in the state, Sadiq Ade Atayise, who addressed journalists at a media briefing on Sunday in Ibadan, said the party endorsed Makinde for another term of 4 years because of his character and capacity. He, however, urged the people of Oyo State to support Labour Party candidates in the state assembly elections. Atayese said, going by the results of the February 25th presidential election and political realities in our state, it is obvious that no individual party can win the coming gubernatorial election single-handedly. The main priority should be to ensure that citizens win through the election of a candidate that best serves their collective interest. Against this backdrop, the right thing now is for parties and their candidates to form alliances with candidates of like ideology. It is of note that the present PDP administration under Governor Makinde has presented its scorecard for the health sector with the provision of primary health centers in every ward to security and others. There is no doubt that his governance ideas in the establishment of the park management system, which other states now emulate, has made him a leader with uncommon innovation. From our evaluation as a party, Makinde has done well, and we know that continuous development of the state is a function of stability in governance. So that's the Labour Party somewhat endorsing Seyi Makinde, but that, of course, a real because you'd have thought that they will be seeking to punish somewhat the APC space, the Labour Party, but it looks as though the expediency of local politics, especially localized to the places like Oyo State, etc., the expediency then lends to the Labour Party lending its support to Seyi Makinde. So the Labour phenomenon. Somebody was also showing me some cut out of Omo Agege, Ovie Omo Agege, using the obedient movement to campaign within his own word. So the obedient movement now a currency within especially this political period. Establish your second position. Establish your second position in election before fighting for presidency. This is Festus Keyamo poking fun at Peter Obi. The spokesman for the All Progressive Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, on Sunday dismisses the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi's chances of overturning the party APC's victory in last weekend's election. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC on Wednesday declared the All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the February the 25th election after polling blah 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 to defeating the People's Democratic candidate Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and 15 other candidates in the exercise. But Atiku and Obi have rejected the results announced by the commission, with each claiming at separate press conferences that the election was fraught with irregularities. In a series of tweets on his Twitter handle, the Minister of State for Labor and Employment charged Obi to battle with the PDP in a bid to establish his position in second place. He added that the former Anambra governor would only earn the right to fight for the presidency with the APC candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu after establishing his position as the first runner-up in the election. Mr. Kiyamo wrote, Peter Obi and Labour Party cannot even go to court and ask to be declared a winner straight away. They have to fight PDP in order to prove they came second before they can have the temerity to face at official ABAT. So there is no room for cooperation between Labour Party and PDP in court. So there it is. So that's Festus Keyamo poking fun at that space. So that's Festus Keyamo poking fun at that space. So it's not going to be a long and labored session, as I said. I'm hopeful that it will be a short little session. So those are the things that I've got. So I'm going to invite the panelists to also share thoughts on what they are picking up within the political cycle. But as I bring them on, I'm going to bring them on then to what this clip would be. This is now the Lagos State space. So to watch this clip then to kick off the conversation. This is now a surrogate speaking to the Sanwo-Olu space. So let's watch this.
And the challenges we are facing as a chance to go to the polls to either elect a new governor or renew the mandate of the incumbent, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The build-up, as expected, has been characterized by high wire politicking, a lot of bluster and ballast from the proverbial gladiators, and an electorate who, by the look of things, are desperate to make a big statement again in the wake of last week's seismic shift in the political configuration of Lagos.